definition of enlightenment.
How do you define enlightenment?
And that's my question.
Yeah. I think it to be so my definition of enlightenment. I prescribe very heavily to the 7 chakra system from Hindu texts. There's hands up if you've heard of that before. Cool. So, if you can imagine 7 spheres stacked on top of each other, the chakras represent. Chakras represent a level of awareness, or a level of awareness, and a kind of a cool thing with awareness is that awareness can't happen if there's no movement, right? Like if awareness was light, then movement is sound, and light and sound are, they're almost the yin and yang of the universe. E equals mc squared, that jazz. So movement and awareness, you can't separate them, but they occur on different levels. So, for instance, if you got pulled over by a cop and a cop said, "How fast are you moving?" You could give them 7 different answers and you would be exactly right 7 times. There's the movement relative you to Earth, that's your first chakra. There's the movement relative Earth. Second chakra is the movement, the spin of the Earth, which produces night and day. This is yin and yang. There's the movement of the Earth, or movement of you around the Sun, which produces seasons. So, third chakra is personality, and in some texts you'll hear seasons of our lives as a personality reference. Like, there was that season of my life when I was that crazy rebel person, and then I was quite tame and that, and so we have different seasons that go through our life. Fourth chakra is movement of the sun, or movement of us relative to the black hole around the Earth. So fourth chakra is the heart chakra, and I think it's very convenient or poetic that the heart and a black hole are kind of put together on the same plane. If you say someone's got a black hole for a heart, in our culture it's almost a derogatory term. However, in Buddhism and even ancient Egyptian stuff, literature, out of emptiness, compassion arises. In a lot of in Egyptian mythology, to enter heaven, you have to have a heart as light as a feather. You can't have a heavy heart. Your heart must be light. And to have an empty heart, like a heart that's not filled with desire. Don't have any desire in your heart. It's a very Hindu and Buddhist kind of practice, to starve yourself with desires. Imagine if you to list all your desires that you have: sugar, nicotine, caffeine, cannabis, something else, whatever, and you're just to stop those for 2 weeks and see what happens. It's a very interesting process. First chakra is movement up and down from the Milky Way, and then the 7th chakra, or 6 is the movement of the black hole, and the 7th is astrophysicists know that we're moving somehow in some direction, but we don't know exactly what. It's an unknown movement. So that's the 7th. So my definition of enlightenment is the ability to see all the movements and all the levels of awarenesses that is occurring at this exact moment. To be able to see physical, I see man, I see woman, I see camera. To see the 2nd chakra, which is your more psychosocial identities, mother, father, cameraman, director, there's more identities. And then there's the 3rd chakra, which is your astral being, which is, my astral being, like there's a big part of my astral being which is a support worker for kids. Another part of my astral being is a boyfriend, have all these things, astral beings, kind of more distant roles. And then we have the fourth and so on and so forth. So the ability to see all those things happening simultaneously at the exact same time, and seeing how everything is so perfectly lined up, and just the depth to everything. To me, that's enlightenment.